So Tracy McGrady added to the Spurs roster as the playoffs are near, but the bigger question for Tim Legler is the Spurs as a team. This is a team that's had trouble on the road recently. They're going to settle for the second seed coming into the playoffs. Their main stars are banged up. How does it play out for San Antonio moving forward?
Yeah, the expression I use is leaking oil. Yeah. That's what they look like. They need to hit the reset button pretty quickly. And Tim Duncan even said it after the last game. They've never looked like this 2 games before you're ready to start the playoffs. Banged up. Ginobili's not coming back anytime soon. Tony Parker has been hurt. Boris Diaw is out right now. Their younger players, Danny Green, Kawhi Leonard in particular, have been wildly inconsistent lately. So you get rid of Steven Jackson. You take a chance now bringing in Tracy McGrady. I don't know how much of an impact he's going to have going into the playoffs. He played in China all year. He put up respectable numbers, but it's not anywhere near the same as playing against NBA competition. And the Spurs system is pretty intricate. If Tracy McGrady has to come in and pick that up, there's some motion to their half-court sets that you have to be willing to move on. And that's not really, I think, at this stage of his career, what he can do. That's a ginormous X factor to me. What's Tracy McGrady going to give you? What's he going to be? Right now, I'm not expecting anything. Yeah. He's going to have to show me that he can contribute, but there's no question. And right now, the Spurs are nowhere near where they expected to be heading into the playoffs. And now if the Lakers win on Wednesday night, they get them in the first round, and that's exactly who the Lakers want. They believe that they can give that team all they can handle.
Now, when you talk about it, McGrady, it's too late in the season for him to be able to have a prominent role with the Spurs at this juncture. Steven Jackson's gone. Diaw is out. Like you mentioned, Ginobili is banged up. I would imagine, as you pointed out, the young guys have to take their game up a notch. Yeah. Can they at this juncture?
Well, Kawhi Leonard has been good most of the year, and the reason they got rid of Steven Jackson was because he started to complain verbally about his role with the team, because as Kawhi Leonard started to emerge, Steven Jackson took more of a back seat. Steven Jackson didn't think that's where he deserved to be. Maybe Tracy McGrady, since he wasn't on the team all year, can handle that role a little bit better and give you some spot minutes, where maybe he gives you, even a couple of quarters in the playoffs where he can do something offensively. But look at Danny Green, another guy. Last year in the playoffs, Greg Popovich took him out of the starting lineup and shelved him because he had lost all confidence in his ability to make an outside shot. So believe me, Greg Popovich is sitting there right now saying, I've got Kawhi Leonard, Danny Green, 2 critical elements to what I'm trying to do right now in terms of my rotation, that I'm not that certain what they're going to give me when the playoffs start. It's a scary proposition. Gary Neal, another guy probably in the same boat. Mm-hmm. These are major contributors throughout the regular season that are going to have to pick it up and come through in big moments in the postseason, particularly with Manu Ginobili out right now.
The Spurs, this has kind of been a similar deal with the Spurs. Yes. They kind of dominate in the regular season, and it's almost like they run out of gas when you get somewhere near the playoffs, whether it's the start or the first round or the second round of the playoffs. And you can understand what Coach Pops is doing with this team in terms of resting their big guns throughout the season. Is there any other remedy to kind of get them through, to kind of get to the finals?
It was interesting. Last year, Pop took his foot off the gas. He didn't want the #1 seed. He did everything he could not to get it, but the Thunder struggled so bad the last couple weeks of the season. Finally, it got to the point with 2 games ago. He said, well, if you're going to give it to us, we'll take it. They had the #1 seed. They're up 2-0 against the Oklahoma City Thunder in conference finals before Oklahoma City runs off 4 straight games. I don't necessarily know that Greg Popovich wants to have the #1 seed, and they don't now. It's going to be Oklahoma City. But you're absolutely right. This has been a pattern for the 3rd consecutive year. They get to this point in the season, and you're really concerned about what they have health-wise going into the playoffs. Now, last year, they overcame it in the first couple of rounds, but then ran out of gas against a much younger, more athletic, faster Oklahoma City team. In this particular case, I think the Lakers are going to win Wednesday, and they will get them in the first round. It's going to be a different type of series. Will not be as fast-paced. Lakers feel like their front line with Pau Gasol and Dwight Howard can really do some damage against the San Antonio Spurs. And if Steve Nash comes back and can run that offense and give you anything there, I think that actually could be a pretty long series. And who would have thought that? I thought the Lakers had no shot 2 weeks ago of making the playoffs.
That's an amazing thought, really, when you think about it. With Kobe going out, you thought, this is it. The Lakers are done.
Well, Dwight Howard's motivated
optimism.
And Dwight Howard is playing like a guy that cares about basketball, because all of a sudden he's a lot more important.
He's the guy.
He ever since going back to probably age 12, the first basketball team he ever played on that meant anything, he's been the focal point prior to the first 3 months in Los Angeles this year. It was a major adjustment. He didn't handle it well. He pouted. He lost his energy to offensive rebound because he didn't feel included in the offense. right now he's feeling good about himself, and I think he wants to take this challenge and show people I am still the top big man in the game, and even without Kobe Bryant, he believes they can beat San Antonio.
From the Spurs standpoint, we'll see if Tracy McGrady is the player that can help them get out of the rut they've been in recently. You can read more about this story right here on ESPN.com. For Tim Legler, I'm Jim Basquil.